It's Thursday, the 12th of March. From the MEN newsroom, this is Channel M's Lunchtime News, and these are today's headlines. Demonstrators ask Gordon Brown to step in over the Christie's missing millions.
If we can bring it to Gordon Brown's attention and the government, and they can see just how much everybody's behind us and how much this means to the people of Greater Manchester, then yeah, absolutely, it's going to make a huge difference.
Calls to tax chocolate to cut obesity as health experts here in Manchester share ideas on stopping children getting overweight.
Sometimes it was an hour in the classroom where we as parents learnt with our children how to feed our children the right food.
And a right royal send-off, we meet the Undertaker, whose new hearse has some very regal connections.
I think if it's good enough for the Queen's mother, it's good enough for anyone in Wigan.
Should be the other way around, Brian.
It should be, really, yeah.
Good afternoon. We start with some breaking news, though, this afternoon. And Jose Mourinho is being investigated over allegations he punched a fan outside Old Trafford last night. Let's get some more details on this now from our reporter, Beverly Walkton. Bev, thanks very much for joining us. What more do we know about these allegations?
Well, thanks, James. Well, police are investigating allegations that Jose Mourinho punched a supporter following last night's match at Old Trafford. It's alleged the incident happened close to the Inter Milan team bus as he left the stadium after his side lost last night. It's alleged the fan goaded him, saying, "You're going home, you're going home."
And what are police telling us about their investigation and what they're doing now?
Well, the police have contacted United and they want to have a look at CCTV footage of the area. They've issued this statement, which I have in my hand. It says, shortly before midnight last night, a man was punched in the face outside Old Trafford. They're now investigating a common assault. United aren't making any further comment.
OK, Beverly Walkton, thank you very much for the update this lunchtime. Demonstrators pushing to get millions of pounds of charity cash handed back to the Christie have taken their fight to the Prime Minister. Gordon Brown is here in Manchester telling business leaders how he thinks they need to work to survive the recession. Managers from around 100 firms have turned up to listen. The Prime Minister says they need to seek foreign markets to ride out the downturn and concentrate on making the best of the skills on offer. But charity campaigners have turned up outside to make their voices heard about more than £6 million which the Christie's trying to claim back. It was invested in an Icelandic bank which has now collapsed, and staff at the cancer hospital have been told they've not done enough to reclaim it.
We're here because we're rallying support, and we particularly want to bring to the government's attention the fact that we're really trying to get this petition that the Manchester Evening News have organised to get our money back for £6.5 million that was lost in the Icelandic bank scandal. By bringing it to as many people's attention as possible, then we can rally and further get as many people's names on here. So if we can bring it to Gordon Brown's attention and the government, and they can see just how much everybody's behind us and how much this means to the people of Greater Manchester, then yeah, absolutely, it's going to make a huge difference. So it's really important that we're here today and making our campaign as high a profile as possible. People want to back us, everybody wants to get this money back. We want to be able to do as much as we can in the future. We want all these research, this development to keep on taking place. We need this money back, and it's only natural that everybody's going to rally around. People work so hard to raise this money for the charity. You know, it's only right that they're then going to want to support a campaign to get it back.
Well, we're just hearing that protesters have now been invited in to speak to Gordon Brown, and we'll bring you an update on what happens as a result of that as and when we get it. Detectives investigating the death of a Greater Manchester policeman are trying to trace the movements of the car used to run him over. PC Mike Silcock was off duty when he was hit by a yellow BMW 3 Series coupe on Didsbury Road in Heaton, Mersey late last Friday. The car, similar to this one, was seen driving from the scene and was later found burnt out on Burnage Lane. It had the registration plate MM51VOH. 4 men have been arrested on suspicion of murder. One of the country's top policemen says the Greater Manchester Force should learn from anti-terrorism strategies to try to cut gang violence. Sir Ken Johns, who heads up the Association of Chief Police Officers, says there are common themes around young people getting radicalised and dragged into gun crime and gangs. There's been a big drop in the number of complaints about noise at Manchester Airport. 950 people raised concerns last year in the surrounding villages and countryside. It's a 90% decrease since 2001, when the controversial second runway opened. That year there were more than 9,500 complaints. On the day a major event to tackle child obesity comes to Manchester, there's a call to tax chocolate. It's coming from a GP who says treating it in the same way as alcohol and cigarettes would help reduce the number of people who are overweight. Here in the North West, a quarter of adults and 1 in 6 children are classed as obese. Health experts are gathering right now to swap ideas on reducing that number. One of the projects they're looking at is in Oldham, where one family's 2 boys have lost 4 stone between them.
Every morning it was go to school and then come home and slouch on the couch and watch TV. And that's pretty much everyday life. And that before we started Mend, so now we feel a lot better.
And we started in the September 2007, and the rest is really history. They've really enjoyed it. We changed our whole way of eating, our whole way, of exercising. We'll walk everywhere now when we can. Through Mend, we've been able to enrol in, like I say, the exercise classes. Sometimes it was an hour in the classroom where we as parents learnt with our children how to feed our children the right food. They're just a lot more fitter, healthier and, active, but they've done really well.
A review of the country's Child Protection Department is expected to say they need to do more to stop youngsters being abused. Lord Laming's report's been examining the state of social services teams following the death of baby P in Haringey in North London. The toddler died after months of abuse in 2007, despite repeated visits by doctors and social workers. It's already been announced that every senior manager in such council departments will get extra training. Pressure's being put on the government to help pay for a plan to bring the Royal Opera House to Manchester. The Arts Council says it would create 500 jobs and would be the most significant development in the British arts for a generation. The Palace Theatre would be revamped to become a northern home for the Royal Opera and Royal Ballet. 19 weeks of performances would be put on a year. In addition to those in Covent Garden, it's estimated it could cost £110 million. Bury Council's confirmed it's expecting to get the last of the money back later this year, which it lost in the BCCI banking collapse of 1991. It'll take the total amount repaid to more than £7 million, which takes into account the interest the money would have received over the last 18 years. A funeral director from Pemberton in Wigan is now able to offer a much more regal service. He's just discovered that the hearse he's bought is the same one that carried the Queen Mum to her final resting place. Nina Warhurst's been on a royal visit there.
3 weeks ago, Brian Halliwell decided to upgrade his fleet of hearses and ordered a 99 Daimler from a dealer. Inside the glove box, he found the car's registration details, as well as a printout of photographs from the Queen Mother's funeral. And to his astonishment, the registration of the hearse that carried Her Majesty matched that of his new addition.
And how did you feel when the penny dropped, when you realised the Queen Mother had been in your car?
Totally gobsmacked, actually. I would have bought the hearse and paid a premium for it, Don't tell Mr Wilcox that, who I bought it from. But it's, it's something to be proud of. We know we've got a little bit of history here in Wigan.
Would you mind if I had a look inside?
Be my guest.
Well, I'm impressed. It's pretty spacious, isn't it? She had a lot of room on her last journey.
It certainly did, yeah. It's a massive deck, really, one of the biggest decks that are available.
And what do you think it means to local people to know that their final journey will be in a hearse that a royal was in? Because she was very popular.
She was a very popular lady, the Queen Mother. I think if it's good enough for the Queen's Mother, it's good enough for anyone in Wigan.
Should be the other way around, Brian.
It should be, really, yeah.
So, would the people of Wigan fancy their final journey in the royal hearse?
Not yet for a while, but
When the time comes,
I don't mind. But like I said, not at the present, no. Possibly, yes. Yes, I think so, yes.
a royal burial then, wouldn't
Royal
it?
burial, yeah.
You wouldn't bother. I don't care what they do with me when I go.
Do you want to book it in advance then?
No, they can take me at top of Purbold Hill.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Well, it's royalty has been in it, hasn't it? So that'll be a good thing, won't it?
I don't know. I'm not thinking about my burial yet. When I get a bit older.
Now, I'm sure people who are preparing for the big day might be thinking, is it going to cost me any more to use this hearse?
This hearse will be available at no extra cost.
Right.
No extra cost at all.
Might be the closest I'll ever get to a royal as well, Brian.
You think so?
Yeah.
Nina Warhurst, Channel M News.
Time now for your lunchtime sport, and here's Mike with reaction to that game last night between United and Inter Milan.
Thank you, James. United are through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League once again. That's following last night's 2-0 win over Inter Milan. Nemanja Vidic and Cristiano Ronaldo were the goal scorers. And after the game, Channel M's Andy Dickman got their views on another famous night at Old Trafford.
First, for the goal, I'm very happy. It's like defender, and I'm happy to have the team to have the advantage and to be more relaxed in the game. Like the team, I think in some part of the game we play well, but in the end, in some part of the game as well, we are a little bit nervous. What we need to think about and to improve. But in the end of the day, we won the game, and we're looking forward to the next round.
First off, I think we didn't play fantastic, but you keep create a few chances. And the second half, I think we play better. We scored the second goal. I think after the second goal, we killed the game. After we keep the ball and we control more the game, and it's fantastic.
Looking forward to Liverpool on Saturday now?
Yeah, I look forward. It's a good chance. We know if you win, Liverpool is a little bit out. Didn't know, but you know, if you win, you have a good chance to win the title again. We know they have 11 games left to the Premier League. But if you play like that, then we play the last weeks. I think we have a good chance to win the Premier League again.
Well, there were some nervous moments for the United defence, but after 90 minutes, Edwin van der Sar was left celebrating yet another clean sheet.
I think it was a very hard game tonight. I think we were the better team in Milan 2 weeks ago. And today we rode our luck a little bit with the ball on the post, on the crossbar. Some chances they had, and yeah, I think we were a bit sloppy sometimes in midfield, losing too much possession of the ball. And so at the end, yeah, happy with that we went through, but should not have been this difficult.
Still another 3 trophies to play for. How much are you and all the players enjoying the massive challenge that are ahead of you this season?
I know we take it game by game, and it's a massive game against on Saturday again against Liverpool, and yeah, we just have to make sure we recover from this one, and tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock we start focusing on Liverpool.
Now, Milan's Patrick Vieira, he was partly responsible for United's first goal, but was brave enough to face up to yet more questioning from our Andy Dickman.
We knew that how good they was, and of course we knew that it would be quite a tough and quite difficult game. But in the end, I think we played our chance, and we lost. So we are quite disappointed, because I really believe that we have the team to go a little bit more forward. But that's the way it is, and sometimes we just have to accept it. When they scored that early, I think that changed the game really, because at 0-0, I think we will still have a chance. Of course, the first goal we conceded was really important psychology for them.
Do you think they can go all the way and win it again now, Manchester United?
We never know. We never know.
And the draw for the quarter-finals takes place a week tomorrow. Other teams through are Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Barcelona, FC Porto, Bayern Munich and Villarreal. Now, Manchester City are in UEFA Cup action a little later and face Danish outfit Aalborg at the City of Manchester Stadium. And that's where Blues boss Mark Hughes is expecting a tough evening.
They're a good side. They're very well organised. Have a set way of playing. Make sure they get people back in position quickly when they lose possession. And away from home in Europe, in fairness, they've done really well. So I've been really impressed, obviously, seen a number of their games, and they have a goal threat. And obviously in the last round, they acquitted themselves very well. So we have to be mindful that they're a strong team. Obviously, in the Danish league, they're below the teams that we've played already in the competition, but I don't think anybody should place too much significance on that, because I think they're acknowledged as one of the stronger teams in the Danish league.
Now, staying with City, Valencia Vice President Fernando Gomez has admitted the club have held talks with the Blues regarding the transfer of David Villa, and he said it's true, but they didn't make us an offer. The president asked for a significant amount and they didn't agree. And so far today, Manchester City have yet to comment on that situation. Sale's Sebastian Chabal has been recalled to the French side for their Six Nations clash against England at Twickenham. That's on Sunday, while Stockport County boss Jim Gannon, he wants his club to consider playing their home games at an alternative venue, as he considers the Edgeley Park pitch unacceptable for professional football. That's it from me for now, but Sam Goodman will be with you with all the latest news from 5 o'clock this afternoon.
OK, Mike, thank you very much for that. Plenty more still to come on the Lunchtime News, including a push to get more children, and we celebrate 100 years of magic here in Manchester. Details next. Welcome back to Channel M's Lunchtime News. Don't forget you can go online to channelm.co.uk to see all our latest reports whenever you want. Plenty on there at the moment, including the riding school, which has had to cancel lessons for disabled children after several saddles were stolen, and the family who've lost their 52-inch plasma TV. It's been confiscated because it's too noisy. That's at channelm.co.uk. Back now to our top story, and police are investigating claims that Inter Milan manager Jose Mourinho punched a fan after his team's match against Manchester United at Old Trafford. It's alleged he punched the supporter close to the Inter team bus as he left Old Trafford following his side's 2-0 Champions League defeat. The force has asked United for CCTV footage of the area and confirmed that a complaint has been made. The fight to get millions of pounds of charity cash handed back to the Christie has been taken directly to Gordon Brown, who's visiting Manchester. The Prime Minister is speaking to business leaders about surviving the recession, but campaigners are trying to hijack the event. They're angry after the world-famous cancer hospital was told it might not be able to get back more than £6 million it had held in an Icelandic bank, which has since collapsed.
We're here because we're rallying support, and we particularly want to bring to the government's attention the fact that we're really trying to get this petition that the Manchester Evening News have organised to get our money back for £6.5 million that was lost in the Icelandic bank scandal. By bringing it to as many people's attention as possible, then we can rally and further get as many people's names on here. So if we can bring it to Gordon Brown's attention and the government, and they can see just how much everybody's behind us and how much this means to the people of Greater Manchester, then yeah, absolutely, it's going to make a huge difference. So it's really important that we're here today and making our campaign as high a profile as possible. People want to back us, everybody wants to get this money back. We want to be able to do as much as we can in the future. We want all these research, this development to keep on taking place. We need this money back, and it's only natural that everybody's going to rally around. People work so hard to raise this money for the charity. You know, it's only right that they're then going to want to support a campaign to get it back.
An Iraqi journalist who hurled his shoes at former US President George Bush during a news conference has been jailed for 3 years. Hitting someone with a shoe is considered a serious insult to Arabs. Lawyers for Muntada al-Zaida had argued it was a legitimate protest and pleaded not guilty at his trial. He could have been jailed for up to 15 years for the assault. Senior police from Northern Ireland and the Republic are meeting to discuss the security threat posed by dissident Republican groups. They're getting together in Belfast to discuss the recent killings of 2 soldiers and a police officer. It's reported security services there are worried bomb attacks could follow. One of the country's leading authors is here in Manchester to try to get more children reading. GP Taylor is worried too many of them only use the internet and are losing the ability to enjoy books. He's visiting schools with his latest book, which has been designed to mimic the way youngsters use their computers.
Well, I visit about 200 schools every year to try and promote creative writing and reading. And I was coming across kids who hated to read just text on their own. They're all listening to the radio, they're watching TV, they're going on the computer, and books are an alien life force to them. So I created a book which has a black band around the outside, which gives them the impression that they're actually looking at a computer screen. It mixes text with graphics and comics, and it really is quite a lively experience for them. And the feedback we've got has been utterly amazing. We've got kids throughout Manchester and throughout the northeast and northwest of England who are really getting turned on to reading, and the teachers think it's fantastic. I'm going into a school in Ashton-under-Lyne, St Peter's Church of England school down there, and they've been reading it as a class reader. They've been loving it, and I'm just waiting to go in and see those kids' faces and just to see how they've devoured the book. The designers were from... One of the designers was from Disney. And when he got the brief, he thought, right, how do we get kids turning pages? So they limited the number of words per page. They then put slipped pictures in. And this book's been read from kids who are from 9 to 16 years old. So it's the older end as well as the younger end. I got an email last night from a boy in America who spent 3 years in a correctional institution, whatever one of those is. And he said this was the first book that he's ever read from cover to cover, and he read it in 2 days. And for him, that was an achievement.
Celebrations have taken place to mark 100 years of magic here in Manchester. The city is home to one of the oldest magic societies, not only in England, but also in Europe. The Order of the Magi have held a special show, and our reporter Ben Bland was there.
We have a motto, Mundus Vult Decipi. He wishes to deceive the world.
and that's what they've been doing for 100 years. Since 1909, magicians from the Order of the Magi have been wowing audiences with spellbinding performances. The 97 members meet every month and put on shows throughout the year. The Manchester Society, which is the third oldest magic club in England, is open to all magicians, men and women, over the age of 16.
If you want to join the Order of the Magi, and by the way, we've just lowered our age limit from 18 to 16 because the Harry Potter issue has created a lot of interest in youngsters. You make an application, you have to have a reasonable knowledge of magic and some magical skills. The door is just not open to anybody. You make an application, it's vetted by the committee, you need to do a short interview and a short audition. If they're happy, you become a provisional member, and then you need to perform in front of the whole society at the end of the year that you're in.
It's find the black card. I've got a red card, a black card and a red card. I have a red card, a black card and a red card. So as soon as we're betting for money, I'm just going to get some of my money out. Barry's Bunko booth. So we've got a red card, black card, red card. And which one would you like? The middle one? Not the middle one. Top or bottom? Not the bottom one. Anyway, it was none of them. I would have won anyway.
Now, I'll let you into a little bit of a secret. When I was much younger, I was a bit of an amateur magician myself. It was a fascination with sooty and a few card tricks taught to me by my granddad that got me really hooked. Of course, over time, the magic does wear a little thin, but you can always bring it back. Just watch the hanky going right in there, tuck it away nice, and there we are. Have a look at that. And it's all gone. Of course, if you really want to show off, you can just make it all come back. Ben Bland, Channel M News.
And for a small fee, he is available for children's parties. After a wet start, the weather's cleared up in many places. Let's look ahead to the afternoon and the weekend now with Michelle Eagleton.
It was quite showery across Greater Manchester this morning, but this afternoon it is going to dry up somewhat and be very, very bright indeed. Now, taking you through, the temperatures are quite mild today, highs of between 10 and 9 for most of us, although in the city centre it is going to be slightly warmer than that, highs of 13 expected, so not bad in the main. Let's see what it was like though this morning in a bit more detail. We had quite a bit of wind creeping through from the westerly direction. It was very strong up until about midday. Later this afternoon, if you can hold off for a bit for going outside, best time to do it is about between 4, 5 and onwards into the evening. It's going to be really nice, some bright sunny spells expected, and that's really the picture for the next couple of days. It's not going to be too bad at all. Starting off with tomorrow at the start of the weekend, highs of 16 expected for Friday. A little bit of sunshine mixed in with the cloud. Going to see a few showers on Saturday, not too much to worry about because by Sunday and Monday it's going to dry up with highs of 13.
This is Channel M, our top stories. Greater Manchester Police are investigating claims Jose Mourinho assaulted a fan after his Inter Milan side were beaten 2-0 by Manchester United at Old Trafford last night. Officers have asked for CCTV footage from the area around his team bus to try to check what happened. Campaigners fighting to get millions of pounds of charity cash given back to the Christie have taken their battle to Gordon Brown. The Prime Minister's in Manchester and has now invited them for a meeting. A group from the hospital are demanding they get compensation for money that they had invested with an Icelandic bank. Bosses there have been told that so far they've not done enough to be awarded that money back. A major event on to examine how to stop more of our children getting overweight. Figures show here in the northwest 1 in 6 are classed as obese. It comes as it's suggested a tax should be put on chocolate to make people think twice about eating it. Those are today's headlines, and that was the Lunchtime News. We'll have more on all those stories with Andy Crane from 5 tonight, but from me and the Lunchtime team, bye-bye for now.
This is the one we're really interested in.
And you're definitely going to incorporate that, do you think, are you?
I'd certainly like to, if we could, provided the plot is right.
And the cost, does it work out very expensive?
Well, it's